Let's talk about idea and taking an idea to a proven concept. The journey of every entrepreneur. What is your idea? What is the way that you create an idea into a proven concept? I know in Rock Your Life, we tend to be very collaborative, and it's just great sometimes to sit down and have a brainstorming session. And then one of the keys in idea generation is to get it down on paper. Start writing down on paper. Start putting your plan on paper. I remember the very first time we did the idea generation for Soul Journeys Travel. We got this idea that we wanted to travel around the world, and we wanted to take fantastic people to fantastic places where they could have a profound life experience. And this has traveled to places like the Egyptian pyramids, to Machu Picchu in Peru, to Chichen Itza in Mexico for the Mayan prophecy. This evolved into Asia's first spiritual cruise from China to Japan to Korea. This included visiting the cradle of humanity in South Africa. And what it started was two people sitting there in Bali in a beautiful ballet, and I remember asking Mike Hancock, what would you like to do next year that you've never done before? Again, back to quality questions. Mike thought about it for a little while, and he said, I'd love to take people to Egypt. That was the idea. I'd love to take people to Egypt. In fact, I'd love to take 33 people to Egypt. That's about getting clearer. That's about getting more specific. This is the power of idea generation with clarity, with focus, with presence. And then we actually sketched it out. And he, in fact, we had a fun game that happened, is he said, well, why don't you write down what you'd like to see, and I'll go to the bar and get us a drink. And I sat there with a blank piece of paper for 1 minute, with 3 minutes, 5 minutes. And what it taught me is that I'm not necessarily a very strong person with a blank piece of paper. Yet give me an opportunity to have dialogue, give me an opportunity to brainstorm, and I love it. Mike came back from the bar with the drinks, sat down, he goes, well, why haven't you written anything? He goes, I really don't know what to write. And then he just kind of sketched something out, because that's what he's very good with, a blank piece of paper. And within 10 minutes, he had the first draft. I added a few comments. We had a working copy. Today, we would have sent that off to Fiverr, because we know outsourcing, and it's a skill that every entrepreneur should be working on right now. This idea of creating a pilot project. This idea of being able to have a proposal that people can give you feedback. This is called social proof, and this is such a key component these days in idea to proven concept. What we did in our proven concept, in the idea, was to ask a few people, what did they think about going to Egypt? Immediately we got feedback. Immediately we got people who wanted to come, they wanted to sign up. We knew we had an idea that had some legs. We then needed to consider the next stage, which was building a brand, which I'll talk about a little bit later. Yet, I really just want to deconstruct the process for idea and idea generation. First, you got an idea. Do a little brainstorming. Write something out. Get a template, get a model, get a prototype, get something down on paper. Perhaps use outsourcing to get some feedback. Then test it in social media. Get that feedback loop working for you, and then it gives you a good indication of whether your idea will fly or not. If people will buy your idea, then it's probably a good indicator you're onto something. If people aren't interested in your idea, you might decide to do something very important in entrepreneurship. It's called pivot. Pivot is the hot buzzword in technopreneurship. Often you have to pivot, and pivoting is such a key component, as opposed to staying with an idea, it's going to work, it's definitely going to work. You might want to let go or use the best 4 words in entrepreneurship that start with N. It's called next or pivot. This is the idea to shift your ideas and the power and the presence and the certainty to move forward. Key concepts in idea generation. Deconstruct, write, be able to take action on your ideas. Get feedback, and then either move forward with your idea or pivot to a new idea, perhaps even moving to into a next idea. This first component, idea to proven concept. Use it and live it and see how it can move you and your business to the next level in your journey in X Factor entrepreneurship.